My wife cheated on me after 20 years of marriage. Now he asks for a chance. I do not know what to do. Hi guys. This is my first post here, but I have to tell someone. I can't keep it to myself anymore. I'm 47. My wife and I have been together for 25 years, 20 of them were married. We have 2 children, son, 16, and daughter, 13. We grew up together. We went through difficulties, repairs, relocations, the birth of children, the illness of parents. It would seem that everything. But 3 months ago, I found out that she cheated on me. Not with someone from her past, not with her ex, but with a man she met at work. He's a couple of years younger than her. She left the house under the pretext of a night project, and returned with the smell of someone else's perfume, rumpled clothes, and eyes full of guilt. I asked once. She didn't deny it. At first there was a shock. Then the pain. It was so sharp that I physically wanted to scream. But I just sat down. I sat for 2 hours in the dark, staring at one point. Hi guys. This is my first post here, but I have to tell someone. I can't keep it to myself anymore. I'm 47. My wife and I have been together for 25 years, 20 of them were married. We have 2 children, son, 16, and daughter, 13. We grew up together. We went through difficulties, repairs, relocations, the birth of children, the illness of parents. It would seem that everything. But 3 months ago, I found out that she cheated on me. Not with someone from her past, not with her ex, but with a man she met at work. He's a couple of years younger than her. She left the house under the pretext of a night project, and returned with the smell of someone else's perfume, rumpled clothes, and eyes full of guilt. I asked once. She didn't deny it. At first there was a shock. Then the pain. It was so sharp that I physically wanted to scream. But I just sat down. I sat for 2 hours in the dark, staring at one point. She said it was accidental. That they were both drunk. That he meant nothing to her. That she didn't want to lose her family. That it was a mistake. But it wasn't just a mistake for me. It was the end of something. She's gone. For 2 weeks. Then she came back. She apologized. She said she only loved me. That I lost my head. That it was a midlife crisis. That I am her home. That she doesn't want to lose us. And now we live in the same house, but it's like we're in different worlds. She tries to be softer, more caring. I even started cooking what I love. And I just don't know how to feel. When I look at her, I still see the woman I've lived with for half my life. When I hear her voice, I remember how we laughed. When she takes my hand, I feel warm. But when I go to bed, I see her in someone else's bed again. And it tears me apart. Guys, I'm not asking for advice like, drop her, or, I'm sorry. I just want to understand. Is it possible to forgive infidelity if you have 20 years behind you? Can a person really change? And if you try, won't it just be a matter of time before the pain returns? We have children. They know that something is wrong between us, but they don't know the details. I don't want to hurt them any more than I already have. But I can't pretend that everything is fine either. If you read this to the end, thank you. If you've been through this yourself, tell me how you handled it. If not, just shake my hand mentally. I need it now. P.S. I am not a saint. I'm not a perfect husband either. There were times when I was too busy with work, I forgot about romance, I became cold. But I never even thought about betraying her. Maybe it's my fault too. But why exactly did she go to look for warmth in another place? Thank you all for your support. Your answer gave me the strength to write more, because I realized that I am not alone. And this is important. It's been almost 2 months since she returned home. We live together, but we're still far apart. Sometimes it feels like we're actors in a bad movie who are trying to repeat roles that we once knew by heart, but have now forgotten the lyrics. She's really trying. He calls more often when I'm at work. She cooks my favorite dishes. He writes messages like, "I miss you," even though this has never happened before. But I feel like it's more a fear of losing me than a sincere desire to be around. What have I been doing these days? I talked to a psychologist. For the first time in my life. I don't want to be a hero who gets over everything on his own. I had to figure out inside myself why I was hurting so much, what I was losing, and whether I was ready to forgive. At one of the sessions, the therapist asked, "If you knew that you would never remember that betrayal again, would you be able to love her again?" I thought about it and said, yes. But the problem is, I can't just forget. Every glance, every phone call, every delay at work, everything reminds me that she could have left. And he can leave again. We talked. For real. Not just about cheating, but about everything. About our relationship. About how we became strangers. How they turned from lovers to neighbors. She admitted that she had felt invisible for the past few years. That it seemed to her that I no longer appreciated her as a woman. That I take her for granted. That sex has become a duty, and talking is a rarity. I didn't expect to hear that. I thought it would be an excuse. But she cried and said, "He looked at me like I was still beautiful. Like I'm still important. You haven't looked like that in a long time." It hurts more than any betrayal. We tried to resume our relationship. But it's complicated. We started going to a family therapist. She agreed. He helped us talk about what we had been silent about for years. About our needs, fears, and expectations. About what we've lost. Now we're trying to be honest. Without embellishment. No charges. We just put the cards on the table. Sometimes it works. Sometimes not. There were times when I wanted to hug her and say, "I'm sorry I stopped seeing you." There were moments when I wanted to scream, "How could you do this to me?" And there were nights when I just looked at her while she was sleeping and thought, "Do I still love her? What's next? I don't know. Maybe we can restore what happened. Maybe we'll just create a new story, a completely different one. Or maybe you'll have to let go. Because some wounds are too deep to be covered up with words." But I got one thing for sure. Cheating is not always the end of a relationship. Sometimes it's their last cry for help. For those who are going through this right now, if you are here because you also recognize yourself in these lines, then you should know. You have the right to be sick. You have the right to want the truth. You have the right to choose whether to forgive or leave. And you have the right not to know what to do tomorrow. But don't make a choice out of fear. Choose out of love, or at least out of hope.